I would imagine
And then
oak, but again, you have to again. You don't know. You
I don't
have to.
know, I don't know.
You would actually have to do some dendrochronology on that.
Would that be the popular choice?
Oh, Jesus Christ! I thought we were going to make it through one episode without a pun. One episode.
Hello and welcome back to Archaeoscoop. This is the show.
Where we talk about history, archaeology, and news from the cultural sphere.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Silky smooth. Silky smooth.
As I said, we don't plan that actually. That was not written out anywhere. I just
No?
said it one week, and Mark was like, "Oh, now you have to do it every week." And
Yeah.
so as I say, he's lucky I remember what I'm supposed to say. 'Cause did you see anybody hold up a cue card? Nobody holds up a cue card on
No,
these
no, no. But
things.
that you're just that good, and it's like a beautiful little summary, and it's a balm for one's soul. It's and
Well,
hopefully,
you're lucky I'm here this week because for anybody who doesn't know, Silk Song is out today.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone?
Uh,
yes,
uh, Very happy birthday to all those who celebrate the movable feast.
yes,
But every single store, the e-store, the PlayStation shop, and the Xbox store, they are all crashed because
yeah.
everybody is trying to download. I tried to download this morning and it did not happen.
Little did she know that I had already downloaded Silk Song to my Nintendo Switch, and was eagerly waiting to play it. I'm trying not to look smug.
So if you get in, congrats for you. But if you don't, let's talk about archaeology and history news.
Indeed.
So the first story this week for everybody who's not playing Silk Song, I picked this one because this one actually comes to us from our friend Dr. Ten from Dirt Diaries, who
Okay.
I saw this on her channel. If you have not listened to Dirt Diaries, if you don't know Dr. Ten's channel on TikTok, please go follow it because it's absolutely lovely. She has wonderful programs like Ruin My Monday, where she
Hmm.
talks about specific ruins on Mondays to make your Monday suck less. And so this is the one that she talked about last week. And I think it's really amazing. But I also chose this for the headline:
Okay.
a rare find that baffles archaeologists. Actually,
Yay!
the real word is studs, but I was
Oh,
like, oh
okay.
no, here it comes, baffled.
Yeah,
And so Mark's
baffled.
gonna put baffled.
Baffled. Yeah.
Ancient 3,500-year-old dagger found in Germany's heartland. This one comes to us from Archaeo News. A simple family.
A simple family.
How do they know? Walk near the village of I think it's Gütersleben. I
Okay.
think it's
Hmm.
as in like the heart. In Nordhausen County in central Germany, has turned into a remarkable archaeological moment. A 3,500-year-old Bronze Age dagger, identified as Plating dagger, was discovered lying on the ground, likely exposed by
Mm.
heavy rains that has washed away the soil. Experts say the find is not only exceptionally rare, but also offers a direct link to the craftsmanship, rituals, and daily life of Europe's Bronze Age societies. According to Daniel Scherf, regional archaeologist with the Thüringen State Office for Monument Preservation and Archaeology in the Weimar.
Hmm.
Uh, Such a find in this state of preservation is exceptionally rare. Objects like this are not everyday discoveries. To see a Bronze Age dagger so well preserved is something truly special, Scherf explained. The dagger has since been transferred to the state's restoration workshop in Weimar, where it is being carefully cleaned, conserved. I wish I could be so cleaned, conserved, and examined with both archaeological and scientific methods. It's amazing that just scientific methods. Boom,
Yes.
scientific method.
TM.
Once the analysis, you don't need to know, it's scientific method.
Yeah.
Once the analysis is complete, the artifact will be displayed in the local history museum in Elrich, offering the public a chance to view an object last held by human hands more than 3 millennia ago.
Very
So
good.
that's it. And then the article goes on for quite some time, so I'll
Yeah.
let everybody else read it. But the image of it is pretty cool. Like, if you, I'm sure there's a Facebook post about making this like 3,000-year-old dagger found in Germany, and then it's like a crystal
Yeah.
dagger that
Yeah.
look. But no, it is actually quite a long piece,
Yeah.
and it's very, very nice.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Although the idea of submitting yourself to be cleaned, examined, and put on display, it makes me think of well, first of all, it'd be quite funny I just imagine you sort of arms in the air, just going "wash me," and then sort of going into like a booth where
Bathe,
you're scanned and scrubbed, and um,
dry.
but then it's obviously it's the Mr. Burns thing when he comes out at the end going, "I bring you
I
love."
bring you love. I bring you peace.
Yeah.
I bring you love.
It's bringing love. Don't let it get away.
Break its legs!
My first story of the week it's the sad one. I'm going to get the sad one out of the way first.
Great.
Yeah, and it's one that, well, I was going to say doesn't contain incest, but it might.
No. Mark, you gotta stop picking these things.
I'm really sorry.
I'm just gonna sit here and cry.
Yeah. Yes, a while ago, we did a story where it was looking at the Boyne Valley tombs and whether or not the ruling dynasties had an incestuous royal cult at its heart, or at their heart. And this one actually also is a story that comes from Ireland. And it's sad because it's the mother and baby home archives that are set to be digitized. No. Yeah. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning it, though, is that it's important. It's really important history. And the story, as reported in the BBC here, experts have negotiated access to thousands of records from institutions for unmarried mothers in Northern Ireland. The documents are being assessed by the Truth Recovery Independent Panel, which is the first stage of an investigation set up by the devolved government. After the panel finishes its work, it plans to preserve the records in a permanent archive aimed at providing relatives and survivors the opportunity to research their past in a single location with appropriate support. This is in the context that more than 10,000 women and girls passed through around a dozen mother and baby institutions between the 1920s and the 1990s. In Northern Ireland, there were also 3 Magdalene laundries in effect, workhouses where women and girls were made to carry out demanding duties. And this was often in the context of, to a varying degree, real or imagined sexual impropriety, and
there goes our monetization. Thank you.
And so therefore these women were often very vulnerable, and their children, if they survived being in these institutions, were often separated from their roots in that sense.
Yeah, many of them didn't survive. Yeah.
No, exactly. And that's a whole other story, also archaeological, but also has been coming to the fore in recent years. The panel is keen to stress that the needs of the relatives and survivors are central to its approach. And they say that it's important to them that they know where to go, and that they have one central place to go, and very significantly, that they know they will have the necessary support in doing that. The whole article in its entirety does give more in the way of information, stats, and then a couple of bit more specifics about individual and their view on the matter. But I just thought it was kind of sad, kind of sobering. But this is one of those wonderful things that the historians can help with, is truth and reconciliation processes, and in this case, the Truth Recovery Independent Panel in Northern Ireland. And I mean, obviously, it's kind of infamous. I mean, obviously, you have a Irish cultural connections, don't you? In terms of, like, dancing and people that you
that's right. Yeah.
with. Yeah.
I actually thought you were going to go into saying that, in Canada we have a cultural connection with our residential schools. Yeah.
No.
We could talk about that, and then everybody tunes out. Yes.
No. But in that sense, yeah, I think if you're connected with Irish culture, more often than not, you'll hear about this at some point. And it should be said, it's also been in the context of a sort of a demystifying of the religiosity that surrounded these institutions as well. And I'll never forget that a few years ago now, the Taoiseach actually stood up in Irish Parliament and outright condemned the Catholic Church, which is something which you couldn't have imagined happening in Dublin.
No, especially not in the 80s or in the 90s. No,
exactly. So it's been a real process, and hopefully for those people who remain Catholic, this is also a good sort of cleaning of the air. It's a good sort of opportunity to have truth and reconciliation. So yeah, good stuff. and also a good history project. Absolutely.
Now that Mark has thoroughly destroyed the mood, let's make him laugh with the next story. Ready for this
Okay.
one, Mark?
Uh-huh.
Lost Druid Stone Circle of East Sussex. Is
Okay.
it really a lost Druid Stone Circle?
Do you know, I'm not surprised you chose this one. I'm not surprised.
I could feel the little druid man that you made just
That's-
creeping up on both sides, going,
yeah. Hey,
tucked away
hey.
in a corner of a Hove Park in Sussex.
East, what was that, sorry?
East Sussex is a big, brown, and somewhat unassuming boulder. But the story of the so-called Goldstone is far from unremarkable. According to author Julian Gilmurray, it's believed that the devil angrily kicked the several-ton boulder near its current location after stubbing its toe on it while digging through the South Downs to try and flood the area with seawater. I just want to point out this is why the difference between history and folklore is important to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Folklore is not history. It's lovely storytelling and it's part of human culture, it's part of human existence, but folklore is not history.
No.
The devil in Sussex folklore is not the character from the Bible. He's a mischievous, impish figure who tries to do something and fails. Then we have, but is it a sacrificial altar? The reality tells a different story, according to Dr. Jeffrey Mead.
Do we need a bingo card? So we can just go, stamp it.
Now you just need the druid man to come up like just do this with his mouth.
Yeah.
In reality, the stone tells a different story, according to Dr. Jeffrey Mead, associate tutor at the University of Sussex. He said the rock was discovered in the 19th century on land that later became the Goldstone ground, Brighton and Hove Albion former football stadium. Dr. Mead said that people began visiting the rather strange stone, believing it was once part of sacred Druid stone circle. However, he suggested this was contrived.
Yeah.
The Goldstone had a very lurid association for people in the 19th century. Dr. Will Aberley added, a senior lecturer at the University of Sussex. It was often assumed to have been a sacrificial altar. First of all, this thing is so freaking high. This thing is it's the height. I mean, yes, it's big, but it's the height of a tree. How is anybody going to, and it's not even flat. How is anybody going to use this as a sacrificial altar? I have no idea. I was often assumed to have been a sacrificial altar where humans would be put to death. There is no evidence for this. There's no blood on it. There's nothing. Other romanticized Druids in Celtic culture visited the Goldstone, feeling that it brought them closer to nature and their quote unquote ancient history. It felt like a clue to a forgotten past that had somehow survived, said Dr. Aberley. The Goldstone became a popular local landmark, drawing crowds to the then farmland where it's at. As it got more and more attention, Dr. Mead said the landowner, William Rigdon, became fed up with sightseers trampling his crops and knocking down fences, so he ordered it to be buried. And that is where the Goldstone stayed. That is until its location was discovered by Hove Commissioner William Hollenby, who reportedly tracked down one of Mr. Rigdon's farm laborers to locate where it was buried. It was later placed in Hove Park to mark its grand opening in 1906. So absolutely nobody go there. No one go there. That is not the original location of this rock. It is miles away, and now it sits happily next to a tree. So this thing is so huge and not, like I said, not flat. It's a fascinating piece, but how anybody could have thought this was a ritualistic thing, I just don't know.
Maybe. So two thoughts come to mind. First of all, maybe the sacrifice is not one that is done to someone, but rather at the bottom they go, I offer myself in tribute.
Oh, okay, fair
And
enough.
then-
I mean,
and
it's
then-
not high to jump. It's not high enough to jump off and
Oh,
end
no,
yourself,
it's
though.
not jumping off. It's just the act of actually climbing it gives them some sort of heart attack because it's so weird and big.
See,
It's like, how far have I made it? Like, you're only 3 feet off the ground. So that could be it. But then the other thing as well is at what point do not all? At what point do some neo-pagans start to seem a little bit like I've known stalkers.
well, the article's very clear that nobody goes to worship it now. That this was a thing that people went to when it was in the farmer's field in Victorian times.
Yeah.
And so the farmer got fed up with it and said, "I'm tired of these people coming to worship this dang thing that we know is not really a druid stone circle,
Yeah.
or because did the druids make the stone circles, Mark?
No, no.
No, it was the
But but but
Neolithic peoples.
that's the thing. At what point does the need to sort of claim things overtake or is undermined, I suppose, better by the need for actual sort of narrative evidence? Okay, you're getting something from the stone. Tell me what you're getting. What actually is about this? Tell me something about this
Well, we
monument
have
that
this
we don't
conversation
know.
all the time when we talk about things like Easter and Christmas, and we're like,
Yeah, yeah.
what is this? Why? I mean, Victorians were so desperate to make things sound pagan. What is
Mm,
this? What is this desperation of needing to reclaim things for?
mm,
Why can't they just be cultural things? Why do they have to be tied to religion?
mm,
And I mean, obviously, in prehistoric times, there wasn't really such a distinction.
mm,
But nowadays, many people divorce cultural things from religion.
mhm,
And so the example I always like to give is, if you go to Japan and you ask them if they're religious, Japanese people will say no, but
mm,
they have two major religions, and they'll talk about cultural festivals. Especially in Obon just passed, and then the New Moon festival's coming up, and to them those are just cultural things. Yes,
mm,
sure, they do go to shrines, but they don't, there's no, it's more of a community cultural aspect to these festivals, and many of these festivals, with the exception of a certain few, are only a couple hundred years old. So for
mm,
them, they're just like, yay, everybody come and celebrate. But in the Western world, for some reason, we look at cultural festivals and somebody's got to claim them. It doesn't matter who it is.
mm,
Someone absolutely tries to claim a thing,
mm,
and for whatever religion, and it has to be for them. I think it's just this. I think it has to do with the sort of desire of reclamation to say, no, this is mine, no, this is mine.
mm.
When you have, societies like I say in Japan where they're just like, if is it Buddhism? Meh. Is it Shintoism? Probably. Do we care? No. And so
Do I get a
everybody
good luck
just
token at the end? Yes, exactly. Yes,
yes, exactly.
but
So for
actually,
example, like the penis festival,
mm, mm,
a lot of Westerners think that that's an ancient festival. It was invented in 1969,
yeah.
and
Mm.
and Japanese people are just happy to have little like penis cakes and
Sorry. What year?
and
What year was it invented? Sorry.
1969. Ah, nice.
Um, no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, people and also, but again, that there's also layers there, isn't there, in terms of whether or not, especially Western American audiences, can handle the idea of there being public penises, and it not being, so there's that, but also the other thing to bear in mind as well is, in all seriousness, people used to talk about these things as druidic monuments regardless. So it was a sort of catch-all term for things that were prehistoric in the landscape, made out of stone, so
Yeah.
megalithic stuff, etc., and tombs. But yeah, I don't blame the farm. But actually, no, I don't know. I mean, maybe it was a useful
Actually, I
field.
mean, I kind of blame the farmer for taking the stones out of
Put
like
a
in situ.
box, take
Yeah,
some.
where they were, because I
Yeah,
understand why he was getting pissed, but then just, ban people from your land. That's
yeah,
it.
mm,
And just put a gate around it.
yeah,
Because now we can't study the stones as they are in
in
situ.
situ. Yeah,
And
yeah,
we can't do that anymore. And we've
yeah.
lost that. That's the sad bit, is that we've lost the opportunity to actually study the circle.
Mm.
And instead we had this just remove the rocks because
Stone
they
in the
can't.
park. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay. Well, my second story of the week. This one is just as mysterious as a druidic stone circle, and I love the picture in this story. It's from Popular Mechanics, and the headline is: Archaeologists found a holy box that could finally unravel centuries of mysteries.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
This ancient artifact holds secrets lost for over a millennium, is the subtitle. And the
Okay.
box, the best part about the image is it could be, if you imagine sort of, the opening of the Ark of the Covenant. And,
Don't look at it, Marion. Don't look at it, Marion.
yeah, don't look at it. And then, yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. and the lid comes up and there's light everywhere. It's kind of like that, except it's an archival box, which sort of plucks my little cold dead archaeologist heartstrings. It's it's just like, oh, it's an archive with a little light and smoke coming out of it. And so here's a little summary of here's what you'll learn when reading this story. Archaeologists in Austria have unearthed a rare ivory pyx, PYX, and marble shrine from the 6th century. From a 6th century abandoned church. The pyx features unique biblical imagery, including Moses on Mount Sinai, and a rare depiction of Christ's ascension in a 2-horse chariot. Ongoing analysis aims to trace the origins of the ivory, marble, and wood, which may even be a relic tied to the true cross. Archaeologists. Is that like skeptical ASMR?
God. Oh my God. Ridiculous.
Reliquary. Archaeologists recently dug up an ancient reliquary in reliquary in Austria, and we may soon find out just where it came from and even what holy treasures it once held. It's perfect. You can see that it would be raining in my story. Maybe there'd be like a storm. Someone would come running in from the village, going, "No, you know not what you do," as they sort of open up the
You must not read from the book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes. And then, yeah, it'd be perfect. Within the shrine were fragments of a very specific kind of ivory box called a pyx, which was typically adorned with Christian imagery and used to hold a relic connected to some prominent place or figure within the faith. Now, do you know the origin of reliquaries and this sort of tradition of keeping, especially bones and things?
I mean, depending on the culture, but in this context, no.
Okay, well, the early Christians adopted it as a way of sort of masking Christian identities within a Roman world. So it wasn't unusual to keep bits of beloved, honored fathers.
Well, I know that, obviously in a lot of prehistoric stuff, we talk about things like Maze Howe and the cave in Wales. There's they used to keep groups of bones together. That I know, but that's way prehistoric times.
Yeah. But specifically in the context of Roman family cults, familial cults, you could have within a family an honored father who was always a man, and there some aspect of their remains in a box, in an ossuary, a bone box that people would honor and venerate. And then, if you're trying not to appear too un-Roman, then when someone comes around and goes, "What's in that box?" you could just be like, "Oh, it's my dad, it's my granddad," as opposed to it's a saint or whatever, or it's a martyr. So it became a thing, and the clergy or congregation would often take pyxes when the church was abandoned. So archaeologists were surprised that this particular pyx remained within the ruins. We know of around 40 ivory boxes of this kind worldwide. Archaeological team leader Gerald Grabher said in the press release. And as far as we know, the last time one of these were found during excavations was around 100 years ago. The few pyxes that exist are either preserved in cathedral treasures or exhibited in museums. Ivory, especially ivory stored on the ground, like in the marble shrine, absorbs moisture from its surroundings and is very soft and easily damaged in this state. So in this instance, again, survival of the artifact is very impressive. Its imagery begins on one end with a depiction of a figure at the foot of a mountain, turning his gaze away and raising his hand to the sky above him, placing something between the person's arms. Graeber notes that such imagery is the typical depiction of handing over the laws of Moses of Mount Sinai, the beginning of the covenant between God and man in the Old Testament. Okay. Now that's interesting.
Do we know if that really happened?
Well, I've seen the Ten Commandments.
We have 15 commandments. 10 commandments.
They won't take less than 10. It is thought to depict, as I say, the ascension of Christ and also Moses on Mount Sinai. These are pivotal mountain moments in the Old and New Testaments.
At the same time?
I mean, I'm guessing that they're removed. It's a timeline. It's a mountain timeline, and and the suspicion is that actually this box that I guess you could say therefore was making connections between Old and New Testament sort of covenant notions, and in the same way that Moses receives laws on Sinai, Christ hands over, as it were, figurative, the aspect of the covenant, key to the kingdom, whatever, the new covenant. I don't know. It's an interesting symbolism that's on the box. The question is, what would it contain? And it's been suggested that wood found with parts of the box may have been in the box at some point. The archaeologists concerned are interested to understand the species of wood and its age, because it may well be that this was housing a piece of the true cross.
But was it though? I can smell the Dan Browns in Assassin's Creed sniffing around here, man.
How much? I wonder how much wood is in the true cross.
How much wood would
Yeah.
a true cross? A true
Cross wood. After all, wood alleged to be from the cross where Jesus was crucified still circulates in religious circles, says the article. And they also point out that Pope Francis himself, before he was murdered by J.D. Vance, I
forgot about that. Oh, poor Pope Francis.
Yeah. Gave a relic to King Charles III for his coronation that was supposedly the true cross, a piece of the true cross.
But how many pieces are this thing? If they're just giving it out like Pop Rocks at Halloween,
It
how
must
many
have been.
pieces of this thing actually exist? It's not possible.
And also, I wonder if
I have a feeling that they go to like some kind of like coppicing wood and they go, duh, 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 and then they look at it and they go, oh, this will do.
Yeah.
And they just hand
Yeah.
it off.
I do wonder whether or not there has been a comprehensive study of. First of all, I mean, an easy question are all the bits of true cross same or similar species of wood?
Yeah.
Do we know what wood was mainly used for crucifying people at the time in Judea?
I would imagine
And
oak,
then-
but again, you have to again, you don't know. You would actually have to do some dendrology on that.
Would that be the popular choice?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought we were going to make it through one episode without a pun. One episode.
But regardless, this article, despite its photograph, despite mention of the true cross, obviously does not come to any solid conclusions. They simply go on to mention that the site was abandoned, and in that context, the pyx was left to be found centuries later by archaeologists. But that was my picks for the week.
So to ignore Mark's pun, here's a special story about something.
Okay.
This is just a little fun story that popped up, and it's all about potatoes.
Oh, okay.
Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
Potato.
In search of prehistoric potatoes, native peoples in the American Southwest dined on a little-known spud at least 10,000 years ago. So that's how long potatoes have been with us. In the plains of San Augustine, stretch. Yes, in the plains of San Augustine stretch some 50 miles across west central New Mexico and are surrounded by three sides of mountain ranges. In the late summer monsoon season, vibrant wildflowers make the brownish green scrubland pop with color. Archaeologist Lisbeth Lauterbach of University of Utah and botanist Bruce Pavlik of the Natural History Museum of Utah head west on the U.S. Route 60 to the small town of Magdalena and then turn to a picnic area on the side of the highway. The mirabilis is out. That's good, says Pavlik, scanning the vegetation and pointing to a short plant with purple flowers, often found growing alongside or near potato plants. He goes, let's see if we could find the potatoes. So they go to find a very specific type of very tiny potato. It's so small. And they actually have artifacts that were used to possibly mash the potatoes or grind raw foods And they show one is a little sort of like it's kind of like a mortar and pestle, but one of them is
Yeah.
a little round stone with a depression in it. As Mark will
Hmm.
show, and then the other one is a sort of chopping mechanism.
Right. Okay.
And this is an entire study about how they talked about the very first potatoes, and they are called four corners potatoes. And they're about the size of walnuts, and they you can fit many of them in your hand.
Yeah.
And it says the native peoples of the American Southwest are believed to have cultivated corn, squash, and beans as early as 4,000 years ago. And obviously, we know those as the Three Sisters, obviously,
Hmm.
but that these potatoes were also around, and they were very tiny. And this is a nice long study that you can read because it's immensely long, but you get to see the actual like earliest potatoes that native peoples would have cultivated, and it's
Nice.
really nice. Nowadays, we think of potatoes either as your dinner
Yeah.
spuds or like a big like Idaho potato, but these potatoes are about this like I say the size of a walnut. Some of them are as small as pearls.
Okay.
Very cute. And so we all love a potato. And so I thought we could end on a very nice starchy story.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Have you? This is important. Have you tried Tato's crisps?
Yeah, of course. Don't talk to me like that, Mark. Or you want to start a cultural war?
No.
Which Tato's have you had, Mark?
Oh, yeah. I do prefer the Northern Irish potatoes.
Good night, everybody. See you later. We're done. We're not starting cultural wars on this channel. But
Indeed.
favorite flavor though? Favorite flavor?
Yeah. Hmm.
Cheese
My
and
favorite
onion?
flavor, cheese and I'm actually. I think I've got a more refined palate the older I've got, and I quite like a simple, lightly salted.
Yeah, I agree with you. I
Yeah.
think I think
Let the
always the
potatoes
best way to
sing.
judge the quality of a crisp
Hmm.
and the ingredients used is really just to try the plain flavor
Yeah.
because even though like you could put anything on a potato and make it taste good,
Hmm.
anything. But if you really want to enjoy the potato flavor,
Mm.
judge the potato flavor,
Mm.
it has to be done by just the potato itself. And so I agree with you that a plain is best.
Do you have a favorite controversial flavor?
Not of potato, no. But
Yeah.
if crisps or chips in general, the best chip
I'm sure
actually
Lay's
belongs.
must do something weird, surely.
Well, I mean, yeah, Lay's in Taiwan actually does. I mean, they've got cucumber, they've got tomato, they've got
Mm.
they've got tons of stuff. And I actually prefer the Southeast Asian crisps
Okay.
because they do have more interesting and more. I don't like chips that are dusted with like cheese and all that kind of thing because I don't like that artificial cheese flavor. But the best crisp in the universe is a salted egg yolk crisp, and it's very popular in China and the surrounding regions. And what they do is they take preserved salted egg yolks,
Hmm.
they dry them out, and then they use that as a powder. And then
Okay.
they add chili oil to the potatoes as well. That is the best potato chip.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. My
No, you have no. That is the answer because you, sir, living in England, have no right to talk to me about a crisp, Mister. I live in a country that thinks vinegar is Jesus Christ. Don't talk to
no, no, no,
me
no, no, no.
about
I
that.
don't.
No, no.
I'm not.
Everybody in the
No,
comments
no,
sound
no, no,
off.
no, no,
Tell
no.
Mark that vinegar is not an acceptable flavor on a crisp. I don't want to hear it.
Vinegar
I don't
on
want to hear it.
vinegar on chips,
Absolutely not. Good night,
namely
everybody.
fried.
This has been a great program. I'll see you later. Bye.